chemical that poisoned his bloodstream and disfigured his face. What followed was a nightmare 18 months of major surgery to rebuild his looks. Only days after his final reconstructive surgery, Pete entered the Big Brother house. He'd been so ill, he hadn't worked for over 2 years. I mean, the whole Big Brother time, during it, after it, so many people were probably confused about what was going on in your life at that time.
18 months of reconstructive surgery, huge doses of anaesthetic, 2 major surgeries a week to save my life, not just my face. I had my entire stomach wall removed to get tissue to harvest into my face. I had to be brought home by car because I couldn't fly, and then walking into the Big Brother house, and I was sleep deprived for over 3 weeks. And this sounds like an excuse, and it's not an excuse, it's what it was. And I came out and I couldn't go home, and I was physically ill with the surgery, and I ended up in a hotel, and the press were outside, and I was like not sleeping, and I needed some help, and I didn't want to let anyone down. And I checked into a psychiatric place to put me to sleep. And guess what? Every patient in the psychiatric ward had watched Big Brother, as well as the doctors. So I was no longer human, and they were asking for autographs. And I was like, this drug's killing me. I'm checking out.
It was on Big Brother that Pete caused public outrage when he said he was wearing a coat made of gorilla.
Pete's got a jacket made out of monkey.
My coat is in police custody.
Gorilla? Off.
My coat's been arrested. And I want that coat back within the next 2 hours. I am my fair coat.
It was immediately removed by the police for examination and found to be an antique monkey coat. Pete was innocent. All he'd done was buy vintage. But when he left the house, more controversy followed when he was sent to prison for threatening behaviour.
The police decided to have a bit of fun because I'd spoken out about the debacle with the fur coat and said, and I think somebody in a high place thought, hold on, he's making fun of us, and I think the police were actually out to get me, and they did get me.
What did that feel like, being thrown into prison after you'd been through so much already?
Yeah, but I'm a survivor. Everyone is potentially a survivor. It's just they give up far too easily. You know, a survivor can get tired, let them sleep, get back up and survive. But there's really no reason for anything to break anybody ever. That's a choice, to let things break you.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people under those circumstances, though, would have crumbled. And I'm talking about the body trauma, not psychologically or mentally, because I met you at that time, and I actually thought that you were very...
tank, girl.
Yeah, I thought you were very resilient, and your mind was actually very on the ball. But your body must have been going through some trauma. How many operations did you have?
There was 2 a week for 18 months. That's in a 5-day span of a week, 2 a week. So you do the maths. I'm not good with figures. And they were major operations. Major. And I was on morphine and pethidine, cancer-based painkillers, and that wouldn't kill the pain. I just made a decision one day, I'm not having this. And I just lit up a cigarette and got on with my life. In the session, I get a strong sense that the spirit of Pete's mother is very close and wants to connect with him. Knowing his difficult past, I asked Pete to tell me more about what she was like to live with. A discipline was so rigid. Makeup on at 5 in the morning, clean the house, look after me, change costume at 1 o'clock, clean the house again. The discipline, always to look good, and it didn't matter what you were feeling, look good feeling it. But you're carrying that baton forward. I mean, to me, you're an extension of your mother. I know no other way. That's the way. Why, if I feel depressed, why should I sit around looking like shit? Yeah, absolutely. I'd rather sob with glamour. But there's another woman, your grandmother is in the spirit world. Who's my grandmother? My German grandmother? No, it feels like your father's mother. Oh, Nana, she hated me. There's an absolute... Do you know Agnes, she hated me. The force of that woman is that, as we were talking about your mother... But does she like me now? The thing I sense, yeah, I do. Feel as though she's actually... My dad doesn't. Changing towards you. Because I feel as though she was a force in herself, a force to be reckoned with. Nana, Agnes Burns, I know that she made my mum's initial time in England very difficult because it was England, German. And mother couldn't speak English. And my only real memory of my Nana is, yeah, she was lovely to me. She let me put on her daisy earrings. So she wasn't, in fact, yeah, and a high heel, so Nana was really cool. But always I remember the scars left on my mother that Nana put there.
Do you know what? I actually feel as though there's a great feeling of resolve among those two. Because it's as if your
Well,
mother's
that's lovely.
brought her to say, look, use her strength. Use your mother's creativity, or that's something you've got from your mother. But there's such a strong sense of this woman. And just this, almost so resilient, this woman. I just
Oh, a
feel
tough lady, yeah.
Real tough. But in the nicest sense, tough.
Actually, she used to buy me dolls and red Indian headdresses, and Nana was very good to me, but it's like when I was very young, she died, so then I have the memory of my mother being so angry with her, but then mother nursed her, so obviously there was some kind of peace that came into that. But you've just opened a realm for me, because I forgot about how great Nana was.
Yeah. Pete has been a fashion icon for over 20 years. It was his good looks and flamboyant style that propelled him to stardom. So I asked him to show me his incredible clothing collection.
Well, Gordon, here we are in Narnia.
Yeah, this is more than a wardrobe. Wow.
All of these clothes have led to various stages in my life, but this is not a stage wardrobe. This is the way I live. This is not me being Paris Stilton to go and look at my wardrobe. This is my wardrobe. I get nothing for free. I get discounts on things because I'm a good clothes hanger, and they're very important to me. Clothes are a walking art. We look at pictures on walls in galleries, and why go to a gallery when you can stick it on yourself and walk around? And clothes can have a magical effect on people, or a very detrimental effect. That's the legendary Big Brother coat, which
And it was
is
arrested.
perfectly...
It's got a criminal record.
It's got a criminal record, just like me. But, you know, it was a gift off Michael. He knew I like furs, and he went to a vintage shop and he got me this fur, and I'm not sorry in the least. So that's all I can say about that.
Because, wasn't it?
I mean, come on, they're dead, and why should they just be burned? It's on a coat, and it's very respected, and I wouldn't, buy a brand new one. It's a vintage thing, so I'm not guilty. It's so boring.
Pete is now happily married to Michael Simpson. But the first love of his life was Lynn. They met as teenagers and were married for over 20 years. Together they would hang out on the club scene in Liverpool, and it wasn't long before Pete got noticed.
The Sex Pistols came to town and I met them, and the promoter of the club, Roger Eagle, came to me and he said, you have a great time in my club. I said, yes, you get a band, you're never coming in. I went, what? He went, unless you sing, you're never coming in. I was like, I can't sing. He said, you better learn to because you look so great. And then all the American punk wave are coming over. Cherry Vanilla, Wayne County, so many of them, the Heartbreakers, and they kind of adopted me because of my image, and next thing I got a band together with Julian Cope and someone else did one gig, and it kind of went from there in the press, but it was the clothes were always there, and I didn't feel, the clothes were just rapping for me, and the music was just a soundtrack for me, so I never consider myself a musician. It's just a way of making people aware that I am me, and ultimately I'm the thing that's for sale. I'm the shop front, and there's so many other things inside.
So this is your shoe collection?
I've always been able to walk in heels, and I think they give you a very good stature, and they make me very aware that I'm out, and I like clothes to be kind of uncomfortable, so I know I'm wearing them. And my shoe collection is, I think men's shoes are so ugly and downtrodden, and I grew up in the principle if something's lovely, you can have it. Just because it's supposed to be for a lady doesn't mean you can have it. But this shoe collection here, the sculptural qualities of some of these actual things that Westwood did.
Oh, wow.
The platform is concealed, and they're just incredible things, and I can run, fight, and climb a drain pipe in those. I just love it, These are like these are the condom for my skin.
To
protect me from the world.
Outer skins,
Yeah, and it's like, I've got a huge wig collection.
Can I ask you something? It's just something that popped into my mind and I've got to say it. Did your mother love wigs?
Absolutely.
Because as you did that, I just had a picture of your mother.
Yeah,
with
but
lots
we
of wigs.
used to have wig parties, and I'd model them and pile them up together, and she'd sell them. And it's like, I totally got it. And she'd go, look at this, I can be any colour I want. And she'd throw it in the bin, and it's like, yeah, that's so true.
Disposable hair.
Yeah, it takes 2 minutes hair to go, and people say, is that your hair? Yeah, it is. I bought it. I got every colour and every length and stuff like that. And some days I feel like I'm black-haired, and some days I feel like I'm blonde-haired, and other days I feel like I'm red-haired. I sleep in them as well, because why shouldn't I?
Pete has always dressed flamboyantly, but refuses to be defined by how other people see him. Some people have the perception, Pete, that you're transvestite or drag queen. What do you think of that?
Well, really, I'm at the age where I really don't care what they think, but I know what they am, and I think everything